All right, guys, welcome to video audio editing. This is a really fun class. You guys should really like it a lot. Outside of class hours, the time that I'm available after school is Monday and Tuesday until 4 p.m. by appointment. That's by filling out the Google form in Google Classroom, and that's not the day of. Okay? Our objectives of what we're doing for video and audio is not just how to do editing, but it's how to actually establish a scene, to do the dialogue and what a good dialogue looks like, good film composition, how we can edit for timing and for sound using Adobe Premiere Pro. If we have time, we'll get into After Effects. You guys have a lot of freedom in this class to create and design projects that you feel will benefit you, okay? Which may end up leading you into After Effects earlier than we're expecting in the class, and that's okay. The main thing for this class is that because all of this responsibility is given to you guys, you need to be very careful that you're using your time wisely and that you're using your time wisely, so that you're not abusing that and then losing those privileges, okay? Our expectations, the 5 B's: be prepared, be on time, be respectful, be accountable, be consistent. And of course, follow all Licking Heights High School policies and procedures, okay? Failure to follow expectations, you get a warning and documentation, parental contact and after-school detention, and administrative referral, okay? Necessary supplies. Most of the work must be done in class due to software requirements. So stuff that you have to do, actual video editing, unless you have Adobe Premiere Pro and After Effects installed at home and you're paying for the licenses for it, you will have to do that work in class. That means writing your dialogue, planning your scene, doing any of the camera shots. A lot of that will have to happen outside of class, okay? You guys will need headphones with a mic. You guys will be doing screencasts explaining and pitching ideas to me of stuff that you're planning on doing, okay? If you don't have headphones with a mic, you can purchase them from me for $2. I'll store them in the class in a bag, a Ziploc bag with your name in it, and it will be for your use only, okay? If you have iPhone mic headphones and you need an adapter, I do have a few of those. You can buy those from me for $6. I will store them in a bag with your name on it. It will be for your use only. I purchased these items in bulk from Amazon. I make no guarantees on their operability, but they're there if you need them, okay? Those are required items that you have to have for class. Any additional supplies, I will provide. I have cameras, I have audio recorders, I have green screens and all that fun stuff. My cameras, though, will probably not be as high quality as your guys' cell phones. Your guys' cell phones, a lot of you guys can already record it in 4K. I don't have cameras that can do that. So you guys could use your cameras to do a lot of your recording, which is fine, but you're probably going to have to pair up with a much better mic. So I have lapel mics and audio recorders that you guys can use. My grading. 40% of your grade is projects, the video projects that I assign you or that you pitch to me to do. 40% of your grade is based off of that. 20% of your grade is based off of professionalism. 20% of your grade is based off of quizzes. 20% of your grade is based off of your effort and your time management, okay? So our class is a project-based, flipped, blended, hybrid type class. Means that a lot of this stuff is changing so fast that we don't even have textbooks for this stuff. So we are using websites and screencasts going through the actual software and how to do these types of things, okay? So you guys need to be using your time wisely to make sure that you're hitting your grade, since it's such a large part of your grade. Hitting your deadlines. Professionalism, let me explain what that means. I treat my classroom like a workplace, and you guys are like my employees. So if you are walking in the door when the bell rings, you are late. If you are not actively logging into your computer and sitting down in your seat, you are late. If you're standing in my classroom when the bell rings, you're not logging in, you're not sitting in your seat, you are late. Okay? If you are distracting the people around you, you're not actively working, you're wasting time, you're pulling out your cell phone and using it as a crutch, which I will explain, you are getting graded down in professionalism. Quizzes. I will be giving you guys bi-weekly quizzes on the material that we are learning, and on the stuff that you guys should be doing for your projects. Okay? Effort and time management. The projects that you guys are doing. If it looks like you did not put much effort into it, I'm going to grade you down. Okay? Time management. Since we are dealing with projects, you guys need to make sure that you are managing your time wisely. You don't want to wait till 2 days before the deadline and then start trying to record and creating your dialogue and building everything for your stuff and then trying to throw editing in there. Okay? So we are going to be using some project management type software. It's called Trello. It's free. This is kind of an example of what it looks like. This is an example board. A board is made up of lists. So this could be a list of stuff that I have to do, a list of stuff that I'm working on, a list of stuff that I'm done, or maybe I have it as this is the pre-production stuff that I have to do. This is a list of the production stuff that I have to do. And this is a list of the post-production stuff that I have to do. I can add cards inside a list, and a card really is just a description, and there's a number of features that I can have. I can build in comments for things that I'm doing to make sure that I'm staying on task. If you guys are doing a group type project, okay, using a Trello board is a way that you guys can make sure you're splitting up the work equally, and you guys are making sure that each person is doing what they're supposed to do by the deadline. Okay. A card has a description. We can have attachments in it, which could be that screencast of your guys' pitch or of the pieces that you guys are trying to implement, maybe pieces of section of the video that you need me to see because you need some advice on. You can attach those. Okay. We can also attach other Trello cards. So maybe I have a card that's related to this card that maybe this one is actually editing the video and the other one is editing the audio for that section. Okay. I can actually do a card for that. You guys could use Trello to actually build up your entire scene. Okay. There's a lot of different ways that we could use it. We can use it to build and have checklist items of stuff that we need to accomplish for that individual card, which could be a piece of what we're doing, or it could be something like editing and all the pieces that I need to do for my editing. I could check off those items and see that they're checked off and finished. If I was finished with that card, I could move that card into maybe a done pile. Okay. Other examples, this card right here, I could have linked cards. So I could have a card as a checkable item. So maybe that was my editing, and this was my shooting the video. Okay, if I'm done with all of those, I could even go into those actual cards themselves and write comments and things like that. Okay, so Trello is a really versatile system for us to be able to track our projects and where we are in our projects and to plan out before we start our projects. Okay. It's also where we can estimate our time that we're going to spend on each project or each feature or each part of the scene. okay? And then we can actually say how much time we actually spent on it, okay? So in the syllabus, the time management piece, let's say that you're using Trello and you're accurately commenting and you're filling it out, but you don't estimate your time. Or you estimate your time and you don't put the time that you spent on each individual piece until 2 days before it's due. You start filling that out as an afterthought. Okay, that's going to severely grade you down on time management. Or I see that you're blowing off your project and hardly doing anything for a week and a half, and then you start really working hard. Okay, I'm going to grade you down on time management. You're not putting forth the effort. Okay. Procedures. Entering the classroom. I'm expecting that you enter the classroom quietly. You sit in your assigned seats. You log into Google Classroom. You get started on your do now activity or the activity of the day. Okay. Classroom is pretty predictable and stuff that we need to do. Do now is usually something that I feel it applies to the lesson that we're learning or the project that you're working on. And then you can go to your Trello board and find out what you need to do for your project, what you got left, and start knocking it out. Passes. I allow passes, but not within the first and last 10 minutes of class. You're only allowed 3 passes per quarter. Unused passes, I give 5 bonus points for each unused pass. Okay. I don't allow passes for interrupting a class. You guys are treated differently. You guys can get media passes, which if you're allowed to record for that day, you guys are allowed to walk around anywhere on Licking Heights High School grounds, okay? However, any abuse of that privilege, whether it was a bathroom pass or it was a media pass, if I feel you're abusing it, you're going in and interrupting classes, you're just going somewhere and hanging out, and I don't see you actually producing anything or recording video, I'm going to pull that privilege from you and you're not allowed to use it in class, which will make your job a little bit more difficult because you'll have to do all of your recording outside of class time. Okay. If you're using a bathroom pass, I am not a fan of malingering. So if you are, since the bathroom is right down the hall, if you're spending more than 5 minutes away on a bathroom pass, I'm probably going to pull your pass privilege because that's kind of ridiculous. Okay. So you need to make sure that you're using your time wisely. Since I don't allow you interrupting classes, if you have to interview a teacher or another student, during that time, you guys are going to have to plan ahead of time and send emails CCing me to that teacher and to that student so that I know that that has been approved by that teacher and that that student is there and is willing to do that interview. Otherwise, it is not going to happen. Food and drink. Food, gum, or candy is not allowed in the classroom near the computers for any reason. If you have to bring food or drink in, there's a desk right next to the door that you guys can put your food and your drinks. If you need to get a drink, you can get up, you can walk to that desk, and get your drink. But that drink needs to stay there when you leave and you need to sit back in your seat. Food is not to be consumed during class time, okay? So if you bring food in, you place it on the desk, it stays there for the remainder of class. Cell phones and headphones. You guys are going to be doing a lot of editing, okay? So that means that you're going to have headphones every day, okay? Those headphones are so you can listen to the audio of the pieces as you're editing them. It's not for listening to music while you're doing editing. That doesn't make any sense. Cell phones. I allow technology as long as it's used as a tool and not a crutch. So if you're using your cell phone for texting, making phone calls, going to social media sites, making purchases, anything that is not to push forward your learning, it's not allowed. You can't plug in your cell phones into my computers unless I give you permission. They're not for charging your cell phones. I do have a charging station in the back of the classroom that can be used. It's on a first come, first served basis. If you plug your phone in to charge it, it stays there for the remainder of the class. You can use cell phones to solve your problems. I encourage that. Let's say you forgot your iPhone headphone adapter, and you needed to watch some of the material that I provided. Okay, that makes sense. If you needed to watch some, video that I provided, or you needed kind of like a second screen while you were doing some editing, that makes sense. Headphones, I'm expecting that you guys are bringing them every day and you guys are going to be using those in the class. Music, only when I allow you to use music. So if you're looking for putting background music in, that should be really the only time that I'm seeing you look for music. Music needs to be Creative Commons, so you guys should not be trying to pull stuff from YouTube, unless you are finding stuff that is specifically Creative Commons, and you guys are going to have to download that yourself. I'm not going to walk you through on how to download something like that off of YouTube. Let's see. If you are using your cell phones to record video, which is fine, I have no problem with it. The Premiere Pro software likes stuff in MP4. So if you're recording with an iPhone, you guys are going to have to do some research on the best software to use to convert a .mov file, which is how it gets recorded off an iPhone, into an MP4 file so that it can be read with Premiere Pro and show the entirety of the video and not the first 10 seconds. Okay, that is not something I'm going to walk you through in class. That's something that you're going to have to research. My classroom is a no whining zone. We will maintain an environment of professionalism. If you're tardy, excused or unexcused, you come in quietly without disturbing the class. Hand your pass either to me or place it on my desk. Sit in your seat, log into Google Classroom, get started on what you need to do for the day. Okay? If I need to get your attention for any reason, I'm going to clap twice. Once you hear my clap, stop what you're doing, face me. I'm going to put something out, or I'm trying to gather you guys to do a little bit of instruction as a class. Once I'm done, you guys can go back to your tasks that you need to do. If you need to get my attention, that's what the yellow flag is for. You put up that yellow flag, you continue working, okay? The yellow flag is not an excuse for you to start talking to your neighbors, start goofing off, pulling out your cell phone, doing any of that stuff. The yellow flag is so that you can let me know that you need some type of assistance and you are continuing to work on your project. You're trying to work around the problem. If it's causing you issues, you're working on something else until I get to you. There's only one of me, and there's a lot of you guys, okay? So the yellow flag is actually the last option that you're going to use. The first one is for you to actually do some research. You have the computer in front of you. I'm expecting that you're using Google and you're trying to do some search criteria and try to search for a solution that someone has already done before you that you could apply to your problem. If that does not work, go ahead and try YouTube. Okay? Those are both, you can learn just about anything on YouTube. So I'm expecting you guys to do some research using technology first. Second, you ask your neighbors next to you, to your right or your left, if they have any insight in solving your problem. If they don't, that is when you go to use the yellow flag and put it up. Okay? If I find out that you have not exhausted your option 1 and 2 of using technology and using your neighbors, I'm going to walk away and help someone else who has already tried working through the problem. Okay? The reason is because this type of learning that we are doing, we can learn a lot better and learn faster and learn more. But if you are just waiting for me to just give you the answers or just do the work for you, you're not going to remember it past the time that I actually helped you. Okay? So what you needed to spend your time on is struggling a little bit, trying to figure out that answer. If you find it after you had to work at it, you're going to remember it a lot more. If I end up having to help you after you struggled trying to find the answer, you're going to retain that answer, that information a lot longer. If you end up having to learn it from a peer instruction is one of the best ways to make sure that you retain and you understand the material. Okay? If you need to get my help or you have a question while we're actually doing some type of instruction, go ahead and raise your hand. I will call on you when I'm finished. Moving around during class, I'm expecting you to be in your seats unless I have given you permission to do otherwise. So if you are recording for that day, if you're on a media pass, okay, if you're grabbing equipment, okay. Otherwise, you need to be sitting in your seat working on your project. At the end of the period, when I direct you to do so, you will begin cleaning up your area, logging off your system, saving all your work, and packing up your belongings. You will wait at your seat until I dismiss you with a "have a nice day." I release you, not the bell. Homework. Most work needs to be done in class due to software requirements. That's really for editing, okay? You guys can record in class. However, you guys should be planning that you're putting forth approximately 5 to 10 hours outside of class time. Either doing recording, writing your scripts, your dialogue, establishing your scene, setting that up, doing all that planning, and that most of the class time is used strictly for actually using that software, okay? Anything that you're unsure about, that's also when you should be doing some type of research. So if you need to research on how to apply a green screen and you didn't really understand it from the videos that I provided you, if you have the time, do that before you are expected to actually try to record it, so that you can make sure that you understand the material and you're getting through it and you're hitting your deadlines. Late work. Projects, the video projects that you guys are doing, if you turn it in past the due date, unless you have a 504 that's giving you extended time, you're going to get 20% off the day after it's due. And I'm only going to accept it for 2 days after the original due date. If you have a 504 giving you extended time, I'm only accepting a work, since I plan in extra time in the project for any type of snafus, absences, excused or unexcused, you're only getting an additional week, okay? If you turn in a project to me after those 2 days, it's a 0. Trello, doing the time spent on your project, that's a daily occurrence. So if you are doing that the last 2 days of your project, you're saying all this time that you spent on it, I'm going to, for one, see it on your timeline. 2, that is not using good time management, okay? You weren't accurately planning your time. You weren't using your time wisely, okay? That needs to happen every day. Tardies. My tardy policy is that if you are not sitting in your seat actively logging in, you are late. So, first tardy, that's a warning. Second tardy, 30-minute detention served after school Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. I'm not doing Wednesday mornings. Third tardy, I take 20 points of professionalism from your grade. I notify your parents and you serve 2 30-minute detentions. Fourth tardy and anything afterwards, I'm taking 20 points of professionalism for each infraction, and I'm referring you to administration. If you have an absence, an excused absence when you were supposed to be turning in your video project, you will have an extension equaling the number of days that you have excused, okay? And you can still get full credit. So let's say you were absent for 2 days and you missed the day when you're supposed to turn in the project. You have an additional 2 days to turn the project into me. It is your responsibility to identify what was missed and to turn it in by the end of the extension. If you don't turn it in to me by the end of the extension, or you fail to turn it in at all, it is a 0. If you have missed an assignment, you didn't turn in something into me, and you have an unexcused absence, it is a 0. Okay? If you were absent, let's say the start of the project and you missed a couple days, I'm not extending your time. I've already planned in time for excused absences and unexcused absences and all of college visitations, any of that stuff. I've already planned in extra time. So if you missed a couple days at the start of the project, I'm still expecting you to turn it in on the due date. The only time you get that extension is if you have actually missed a turn in time. Okay. Classroom culture. I encourage cooperation in my classroom. I like to see it. I feel that you guys learn faster when you're working with each other, when you guys are teaching each other. So that is the type of environment that I want to have. I want to have an open environment where you guys are free to express yourselves, that you guys are getting to do the types of projects that you want. Okay? So make sure that you guys are using your time wisely. Make sure that you guys are planning out your projects sufficiently. You're using your time. You're paying attention to the material. You're coming to class prepared so that you guys can do the really cool projects that you want to do. Okay. I look forward to really getting to see the types of projects that you guys are passionate about. And at the end of the semester, we're going to do like a video showcase of the projects to show off the work that you guys have done if you guys want. All right. Enjoy the class.